Welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to pull a handle for your mug and pulled handle assignment. Okay, you should start with, of course, your mug that you already have that should be leather hard. You'll need a lump of clay for your handle. You'll need a pin tool or something to score your mug with, slip to attach your clay, and then a bucket of water for pulling your handle. Okay, so get started with your little chunk of clay. It should be wedged so there's no air bubbles inside of it. I like to make it flat at the top, and I kind of roll it back in my hands and make a larger coil. Then you should be able to hold, pinching your index finger and your thumb like that, and you're going to start pulling your handle down this way. What you need to do is, just like wheel throwing, you need to have wet hands. What you're going to do is you're going to get this piece of clay wet all the way around, and you're going to pull down gently. Just like we've talked about many times with wheel throwing, the platelets in this clay are laying next to each other like this, and what we're doing is we're sliding them apart. Okay, so it's just like pulling a wall on the wheel. What you're going to find is, as you squish your hand together and pull down, that clay is going to mold to the shape of your hand. So if you make a teardrop shape like this, you're going to, there's my teardrop shape. If you have a teardrop shape like this, your handle will have a teardrop shape. So what I like to do is I do a few pulls on this side, and then I actually flip it around and I pull a little bit on the other side, so I have more of an even shape. I tend to make oval shaped handles, so I try to take that shape and prevent that oval from happening, so I have a more even looking handle. Now I'm going to slide a little forward so you can see a little better. That's the thinner part, and then the wider part that the hand will be on. Now as you start doing this and you're pulling down, try to do it over your bucket so you're not dripping on the floor like I am. I'm doing that for the demonstration purposes, but you guys are going to do it over your bucket. And as you do that, use your fingers to smooth the clay out and get the clay the correct thickness. So like we talked in the other video, you have a handle that form and function fits the look of your mug that you already made. Okay, now I'm getting to the end here, and my handle is getting to be about the right size and shape. I like to have a little wider handles. You can also do thinner handles too. But this is the thickness and then the thinness of it like that. Now, getting to the attaching part. You're going to want to take this piece of clay, and for a second we're going to set this aside. I'm going to just grab a paper towel, dry my hand off. I'm going to set this piece aside just for a second. Okay, I'm going to lay it over here on the sink. Then you're going to need to decide where you're going to attach that on to your mug. What you're going to do is I'm going to start to attach it right here, and I'm going to bring it down to underneath this lump. So I'm going to score this edge, and I'm going to score this edge down here where I intend to attach these two pieces. Now I'm going to get my slip, and I'm going to lay the slip on fairly thickly, so I get that clay mushed up and it's the right moisture content for a brand new wet piece of clay. I'm going to score through it one more time to bring the little zipper marks out to the front, as well as have them deep and penetrating. And now I'm going to dry my hand off one last time and set this scored and slipped mug aside. Now I'm going to go back to my handle. I'm going to decide the length of my handle. I'm going to have this, something like that, and I'm going to want this full piece. So I'm going to put my finger here, and I'm just going to cut with my thumb. I'm going to hold my thumb here. I'm going to cut this piece off with my thumb like that. Okay, now this piece, I'm going to take it and I'm going to just score the end of it. Even though it's wet and sloppy, I'm going to score the end of this because I want it to stick well to my mug. Now I'm going to take this scored piece, because it's really wet and sloppy, and stick it onto my slipped and scored mug base. And I'm going to be pushing this clay and scrunching it into the body of my mug. Now that I've got that pretty well attached, I'm going to get my hand wet again, and I'm just going to smooth and actually push towards the body of my mug, okay? And it's kind of hard to do it holding it down like that. I like to do it up like this, okay? And you're gonna smooth that and make sure that it's attached well. On the inside, I like to take my thumb and smooth that down so it sticks really well to the edge. Then I'm gonna take this and pull it a couple more times just to get the shape redefined. So I'm gonna get my hand wet again, and I'm just gonna gently pull that handle down and smooth those edges out again so that that handle is nice and smooth. I'm gonna actually bend this up and pull underneath it to kind of make the curvature of the handle stand up a little bit. And then I'm going to loop it down and attach it to the bottom like that. Now it isn't attached yet, but it's sitting right there on my scored and slipped area. Now I'm going to gently push my thumb into it and smooth it in. And now you can take that handle, you could do a little extra decorative thing with this, or if you want to, you can just cut it off like so. All right, now what you would do is you would go back and you would smooth this handle out. Smooth the outside, smooth the inside, and take any little sponge that you have or any little chamois, and you can wipe off the little lumpy areas. You'll see like right in here, I've got those little chunks. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna smooth those out so that whenever you grab onto this handle, you don't slice your finger and make a disaster out of yourself. Okay, so there's our pulled handle. Now sometimes the handle will have a tendency to sag, and you can kind of loop it back up and like reform it and reshape it as it's sitting like that. Some people will actually throw or pull their handles and then let their handles dry upside down so they maintain the shape. Okay, so you might be able to find yourself a bat or a tray around the room and set it down so that that handle can dry upside down. Okay, so that is the way that you should pull a handle for your assignment, your mug with a pulled handle.